Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, Aquaman portrays a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, so we're continuing our quest to go through all the optional races from Volo's Cookbook of Monsters. That's not its real name. And today we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 7 on the most popular list at 2.08%. 2.08% votes went to the Triton being the most popular of the races from Volo's Guide to Monsters. These are all optional player character races, of course, available to you in 5th edition if that's something your GM wants. I'm not sure why it rated so low. Maybe because of all the creepiness from Shape of Water, and, the whole fish blinking thing, or maybe people just don't like fish people, or if you feel that, well, a fish person is really only useful in a water-based campaign and this game's based in the desert, or I don't know. Anyways, as a Triton, you would get a strength, constitution, and charisma score increase by 1. Interesting choice. Normally it's +2 to one and +1 to another. This one gives you a broad of +1 to 3. That might be a first. The closest is alternate humans, who are optional, which gives you 2 choices. This one gives you 3, but only by 1. So you could have rounded up to get closer to maybe whatever desired class these guys are best for. With the strength and constitution bonus, you'd think fighter types. With the charisma bonus, I don't know, charisma-based character, but basically with no bonuses to int or wisdom or dex, we're looking more towards that these guys are built to, be fighter types. Age, alignment, and size does not matter because 5th edition, but their size is medium for the sakes of 5th edition combat. Base walking speed is 30 feet, and they have a swimming speed of 30 feet. They are amphibious, which means they can breathe air and water, no time limit. They have the ability to control air and water. As a child of the sea, you can call on the magic of the elements of air and water. You can cast Fog Cloud with this trait. Starting at 3rd level, you can cast Gust of Wind with it, and starting at 5th level, you can cast Wall of Water. Once you cast a spell with this trait, you can't cast a spell again until you finish a long rest. Charisma is your spell casting ability for these spells. So starting at 1st level, you get Fog Cloud, a 1st level spell for free. Most of the other races that get spells for free at 1st level get a cantrip, but you can only cast Fog Cloud once. And then you get Gust of Wind and Wall of Water. Dark Vision. You can see in dim light within 60 feet as if it were bright light, and darkness as if it were dim light. You can't discern color in darkness, only shades of gray. There's some question about how creatures that live underwater see. Do they actually have dark vision? Do they have some ability to see clearly underwater? Or is this becoming more and more discovered? Most of the creatures that live underwater rely on other senses besides sight. Echolocation, smell, stuff like that. So I'm not sure why dark vision. I guess because it's supposed to emulate the ability to see better underwater, but really most underwater creatures don't have really great vision. But then again, when does 5th edition ever make sense? You also have an ability called Emissary of the Sea. Aquatic beasts have an extraordinary affinity with your people. You can communicate simple ideas with beasts that can breathe water. They can understand the meaning of your words, though they have no special ability to understand them in return. They can understand the meaning of your words, though they have no special ability to understand them in return. I'm pretty sure whoever wrote this meant you. You have no special ability to understand them in turn. So, Aquaman, you, Dolphin, go get me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You, Crab, sing that song from that movie that I like so much. You also have an ability called Guardians of the Depths. Adapted to even the most extreme ocean depths, you have resistance to cold damage. Of course, it's not cold damage that you have to worry about at extreme ocean depths. It's the pressure. Not that it's cold. Yeah. I mean, the ocean in Antarctica is actually warmer than the surface of Antarctica. So Yeah, it wouldn't be resistance to cold, it would be resistance to pressure. I mean, there's volcanoes at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, for heaven's sake. So, yeah, okay, but for some reason, you're a fish person, so you're resistant to cold damage. Also, as a Triton, you can speak, read, and write Common and Primordial. Primordial is, in fact, the language. I think it's the language of some weird other dimensional beings. Weird that they wouldn't choose Water Elemental, Aquan, as the other race language, or Sylvan as the other racial language, or just say, well, you've got Common and you can also talk to fish. That's your extra language. But instead, they go with Primordial, which is just like, weird beings from the center of creation who existed before time and like are, non-Euclidean, totally neutral, bizarre stuff that you probably never run into. When are you ever going to have an encounter that you're going to need to speak Primordial? How often do you run into primordial beings in your typical first level D&D adventure? Oh, here's a couple orcs. And here's some primordial chaos monster from the dawn of time that looking at drives me completely insane. But that's okay. I can talk to fish. Anyways, that's the Triton. Is this a race you would allow in your game? If you have any interest in playing one, how would you play a Triton? What class do you think is best for a Triton? With that control, air, and water, it feels like maybe Druid, but they don't get any bonuses to Wisdom, so I don't know. A fighter that's ocean-based? Yeah, I guess since all the waters are so specific to water, that's why that they're probably rated so low, because, in a typical D&D 5e adventure, the amount of times you're going to have a situation where all these water abilities actually are to your advantage are pretty limited, unless it's like a Pirates of Dark Water, Freeport, Salt Marsh game, and still then you're going to be spending most of your time on land. So there you go. What do you think of this? Do you want to hear more races from 5th edition? Let me know. Do you want me to stop this experiment? Let me know. The usual stuff. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Help me hit 1,000 subs by the first of the year, and I'll get a camera and use it all the time, as promised. Till next time, I am your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game nonsense and undersea shenanigans. The OGGM. Get off my ocean.